Welcome back. I've got some special dragon-related previews for you today for the upcoming Hobbit set. Before we get into that, though, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the video down below. It keeps content coming your way. All right, without any further ado, let's get into this. There are 5 dragon creature types in the Hobbit set, including Commander. One of those is Desert Wereworm, and the other 4 are just different printings of Smog. First up is Desert Wereworm. It is a 6 mana cost dragon worm with 0 power and 5 defense, with an effect that says this creature gets +2/+0 for each mountain you control. Whenever you attack with creatures with total power 12 or greater for the first time each turn, untap all attacking creatures. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Okay, so part of the effect of this creature here lends itself to more of a landfall style deck, where this creature gets +2/+0 for each mountain you control. Again, this will be a good payoff for landfall decks like Morag, Fury of Akum, Zel Dinkt, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name there, and Gruul landfall decks such as Omnath, Locus of Rage, and Tanuk, Memorial Ensign. Okay, so this is a good payoff in the 99 for any one of those style landfall decks. However, there is another deck that this would be good for, and that is mono-red dragon tribal decks, such as Lathless Dragon Queen. Okay, so you get rewarded with this card for what you already want to go ahead and do. Play lands so that you can ramp into Lathless Dragon Queen, and then whenever you attack with creatures power 12 or greater, which if you trigger Lathless Dragon Queen even once and then attack, you get to have another combat phase. Okay, so this works in 2 really good ways. Next up is Smaug the Calamity, and I'll be pretty honest here in that I don't see much value in this card in particular, unless you're looking to replace one high-cost dragon with another high-cost kind of generic dragon that also has a burn spell attached to it. So Smaug the Calamity would be good for replacing a 7-mana 5/5 flying dragon with no other effects for one that also combines with a burn spell attached to it. Again, I'm not going to spend much time on this one. I don't see much value here, but maybe if you put some comments down below in how you plan on using Smaug the Calamity, maybe I can learn something from you guys. The third dragon creature I'm going to cover here is Smaug Wicked Worm. It is a 5/5 flying dragon that has the following effect. When Smog enters, create X tapped treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts your opponents control. And whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Okay, so there's a lot to love here. So just going by the effects, you get to create the number of treasure tokens when it comes out equal to the amount of artifacts your opponents control, which depending on which turn this comes out, you could end up creating a lot of treasure tokens to be used for ramp or casting spells, which hooks into its secondary trigger there. And whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, you draw a card and lose a life. So there's a lot to love here. You could have card draw baked in here if you're using the treasures created with this creature to go ahead and cast your spells. Smaug Wicked Worm has enormous combo potential. Last I checked prior to making the video, there were about 142 potential combos, so I'll just cover a couple here. One potential combo with Smaug Wicked Worm uses cards that you're probably already going to want to include in the commander deck, such as the Reaver Cleaver and Aggravated Assault. The combination of these 2 cards plus your commander allows you to have infinite artifact enters the battlefield, infinite artifact leaves the battlefield, infinite artifact sacrifice triggers, infinite artifact tokens, colored mana, combat damage, combat phases, infinite mana creatures you control can produce, infinite treasure tokens, infinite untap of creatures you control. There's a lot of potential here. So how this works is you have the Reaver Cleaver and Assault and Aggravated Assault on the battlefield. The Reaver Cleaver must be attached to a creature with power 5 or greater that can attack that turn. An opponent is unable to block the creature with the Reaver Cleaver attached. That's kind of your prerequisites. So the steps here is that you deal combat damage to a player with the creature that has the Reaver Cleaver attached, ideally Smaug Wicked Worm. The creature triggers, creating at least 6 treasure tokens. Move to your post-combat phase, activate the 5 treasure tokens by tapping and sacrificing them, adding 5. Activate Aggravated Assault by paying that same 5, which untaps all creatures you control and causes you to get an additional combat and main phase after that phase. And you just keep repeating from there, and you got this infinite, really fatal loop here. However, that combo really is only legal in brackets 4 or 5 decks. If you would rather build Smaug Wicked Worm in more of a brackets 1 through 3 deck with a combo in it still, you could use Warren Soul Trader, Nadier's Nightblade, and Stridehanger Automaton. So the combo between these 3 cards and having Smaug Wicked Worm on the battlefield will allow you to combo off. So the prerequisites here are that you have all permanents on the battlefield, you control at least 1 additional creature, your life total is at least 3 if the additional creature is not a creature token, or 2 otherwise. So the steps here to activate this combo is to activate Warren Soul Trader by paying 1 life and sacrificing another creature. That's that extra creature we said should be on the battlefield. When the creature dies, if it was a token, Nadier's Nightblade triggers, causing you to gain 1 life, thus offsetting the 1 life you paid for Warren Soul Trader, and causing each opponent to lose 1 life. So resolve the Warren Soul Trader ability, creating a treasure token and a 1/1 Thopter artifact creature token thanks to Stridehanger Automaton. So then you just repeat from there. Activate Warren Soul Trader by paying 1 life and sacrificing another creature. It dies, triggering Nadier's Nightblade triggers, causing you to gain 1 life again, and causing each opponent to lose 1 life, and creating another token that you can just continually sacrifice. So what this does is give you either infinite damage to the player, or infinite leaves the battlefield or enters the battlefield triggers. Aside from using Smaug Wicked Worm as a deck full of combo potential, there are also other really good key includes in case you wanted to build Smaug Wicked Worm as more of a token treasure generating deck that you can then win by the amount of treasures, or you can burn your opponents with using those treasures or creating those treasures. So some of those key includes would be Amulet of Vigor, Zorn, Mirkwood Bats, Reckless Fireweaver, Generous Plunderer, Grim Hireling, Revel in Riches, and Crater Claw Colossus. Now there's a lot more synergies that work with this card as your commander. You could have some sort of Rakdos Flicker with sack outlets and cards like Kaya's Ghost Form or Not Dead After All. You could have treasure token generation with Smaug the Magnificent as a late-game win con, and also Smaug the Impenetrable as a late-game threat. In my next video, I plan to showcase how you can build around Smaug Wicked Worm as a commander, where some of these cards will be showcased within it. Stay tuned for that. Next on our list is Smaug the Magnificent, and this one, I'll admit, personally is the one I really want to build a commander deck around. I think this is going to be my favorite dragon of the set, and I'm very curious what you think. Smaug the Magnificent is a 4/3 flying dragon creature with haste. Its effect says, whenever Smaug attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of treasures you control to any target. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a treasure token. Okay, so not only is this a big flying dragon creature with haste, you also get to burn any target for at least 1 damage, because you get to create a treasure token at each of your upkeeps. Now, if you stuff this deck full of treasure generators, then you're going to be able to do a lot of damage with each attack. For a commander that wants to generate a bunch of treasures and then burn any target according to the amount of those treasures, there are some key synergy pieces that you could include, like Zorn, Academy Manufactor, Stridehanger Automaton, Generous Plunderer, Reckless Fireweaver, and Professional Facebreaker. Of course, there are lots of other really good treasure token generators and payoffs and synergizing pieces with this, but here are a few good examples of what includes for that kind of deck would look like. However, I did already make a commander build that is pretty samey as this in the Fin Fang Foom commander, with the exception that Smog isn't looking to target artifacts and lands, just straight up burn opponents. So you could follow that guide and remove the artifact and land destruction in favor of cards that are more token generators and payoffs for treasure creation or treasures leaving the battlefield. If you would like to see me make a commander build video around Smaug the Magnificent, definitely leave some comments down below, and if there are enough of them, I will definitely make a specific video for Smaug the Magnificent. The last dragon creature within the set is Smaug the Impenetrable. I'll be honest on this one, the artwork is a little here. It looks a little bit blurry, not enough of the dragons in view, but I do like the mechanics of the card. The mechanics of the card are great. Smaug the Impenetrable is an 8/7 flying indestructible dragon with haste, and its effect says whenever Smaug is dealt non-combat damage, create that mini treasure tokens. So this is kind of a masochistic dragon. With this as your commander, you're going to want to do as much non-combat damage to Smaug the Impenetrable as possible to create as many treasure tokens as possible to either utilize the ETB effect or end up burning opponents or targets based on the amount of treasures you have, or win the game based on the amount of treasures you have. So there's a lot going on here. Some of the key cards and strategies you're going to want to include for a commander like this are Flick a Coin, Improvised Weaponry, Cut Propulsion, Pyrohemia and Pestilence, Star of Extinction, Pain for All, Pariah's Shield, Mirkwood Bats, Marionette Apprentice, and all of the other Smogs are a form of payoff for this, so you can include those as well. You'll notice a lot of these synergies direct non-combat damage to Smaug the Impenetrable, and therefore you get to create that many treasure tokens. Some of these effects will have extra benefits, such as wiping out a wide board state of 1/1s that your opponents might have, such as with Pyrohemia and Pestilence. Some effects like Pain for All will then take that damage that you're giving to Smaug the Impenetrable and send it right back to all of your other opponents. And some of these synergies will burn opponents for creating or sacrificing tokens. All in all, this seems like a really fun commander to build around, despite it being a little high in mana value, which you can fix with the treasure tokens and ramping into it. This seems like a really, really fun commander. Let me know down in the comments of this video if you want to see a specific commander build around this commander, and if there are enough people wanting it, I'll create a video specific for this commander as well. Aside from the dragon-type creatures that you saw me cover here for this set, there also are about 6 or so dragon support pieces or adjacent dragon support pieces that you could use. Those 6 cards are Dancing from Dark to Dawn, Desolation of Smog, Last Light of Durin's Day, Smog's Fury, The Misty Mountains Cold, and An Unexpected Party. Again, these can kind of loosely be used as dragon support pieces, but I'll go through each one to kind of describe how you could use those. The first card is Dancing from Dark to Dawn. Its effect says whenever you cast a creature spell, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is that spell's mana value. So this is particularly good for dragons because for each dragon you cast, you get to use the exorbitant amount of mana that you have to use to cast these dragons to then buff up another dragon. It's like getting a dragon and buffing one up all in the same turn. It's very nice. The landfall trigger for this card is not necessarily relevant for dragon support pieces, just that first trigger. The next card is Desolation of Smog. It is a 4-mana sorcery spell that deals 3 damage to each non-dragon creature. So we've already got a bit of a board wipe here, and on top of that, add 4 mana in any combination of colors, and spend this mana only to cast dragon spells. So, if you're following, you get to pretty much wipe the board, keep your dragons, and add 4 mana to cast another dragon, which Smaug the Magnificent fits the bill. It is a 4-mana dragon. So you could wipe the board, play Smaug the Magnificent, and you're off to the races. Or any other dragon that is 4 mana. There are a few out there. The next card is Last Light of Durin's Day. It is a 2-mana enchantment, And whenever a mountain you control enters, put a quest counter on this enchantment. If it has 6 or more quest counters on it, sacrifice it. And if you do, search your hand and or library for a dragon card and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. So a bit of a slow build here, but if you end up getting 6 mountain landfall triggers, you do get to search your library for any dragon you want and put it on the battlefield. So this could potentially be really powerful. Next up, we've got Smog's Fury, which is a 2-mana instant spell that allows you to give a target creature +3 and 0 and gains reach and first strike until end of turn. So this is a generic support piece, but you could definitely use it for dragons. Next up, we have the Misty Mountains Cold, which is a 3-mana enchantment spell. It has 4 steps to it, but as the saga enters and after your draw step, you get to add a lore counter and then sacrifice it after 4. Its effect is, for each step, create a treasure token. Then if you control 4 or more treasures, sacrifice the saga. If you do, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. What's great here is that if you already have 4 treasures, you get to only go through 1 step of this, and when you do, you get a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying almost immediately. The last dragon support piece, which I'll admit is also, kind of a generic support piece, is an Unexpected Party. This is a mono-white 4-mana enchantment. Now, it has a sorcery adventure spell tied onto it, but we're not really concerned about that. We're concerned about its other effect. As this enchantment enters, you get to choose a creature type, ideally dragons. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +2/+2. So you automatically, for 4 mana, get to buff up your dragons by +2/+2 just by playing an Unexpected Party, and that effect lasts for as long as this enchantment is on the battlefield. Aside from the awesome dragons you can find in this set, and some of the really good dragon support pieces, there's another piece of this set that I wanted to go ahead and highlight, and that is some of the special framed borders. Okay, and I'll go ahead and put those images up here. Aside from the regular printings, you can find these Hobbit bordered framed cards that are just so cool looking. I cannot wait to pull these in these play booster boxes or pick them up as singles. I just think the artwork and the frame itself is just gorgeous. Alright everybody, well that's all the dragon related previews for the upcoming Hobbit set. If you want to see more specific Hobbit content or more specific Magic the Gathering content, go ahead and let me know down below. If you like this video, go ahead and press like on the video, and if you want to see more content like this coming to your way, subscribe to my channel down below as well. I'll see you next time.